Ukraine's former Defence Minister Mykhailo Fedorov has launched an extraordinary public attack on Ukraine's wartime military leadership. Speaking in Kyiv after his dismissal, Fedorov claimed that President Volodymyr Zelensky's decision to retain Army Chief Oleksandr Syrskyi effectively stalled the reforms his ministry was trying to implement. He alleged that innovation, modernization, and critical defense initiatives repeatedly ran into resistance from the military command.
When the president said he had no plans to replace Oleksandr Syrskyi, that was his decision as Supreme Commander-in-Chief. I fully agreed with that decision and said I would learn to work with him because our client is the Ukrainian people. But we ran into the fact that all the initiatives we proposed started getting blocked. Syrskyi isn't ready to openly talk about the problems face to face. He's willing to weave intrigues and assume someone has commissioned a media campaign instead of acknowledging the problems that actually exist.
Fedorov reserved his strongest criticism for Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrskyi. While acknowledging Syrskyi's role in defending Ukraine during the early months of the war, the former defense minister argued that today's battlefield demands a radically different approach built around technology, drones, and rapid innovation. He accused Syrskyi of focusing on internal disputes instead of defeating Russia.
This led to him issuing an ultimatum, as we all know. And instead of figuring out how to defeat Russia, which is the commander-in-chief's job, he figured out how to divide the country where we find ourselves today. And that's a major problem.
Despite his criticism of the military command, Fedorov stopped short of directly attacking President Zelensky. He revealed that the president offered him another role after his dismissal and insisted there was still mutual respect between them. However, he suggested Zelensky had been influenced by those unhappy with the reforms introduced at the Defense Ministry.
I've known the president for 7 years. I don't believe he has taken Syrskyi's side. I spoke with him today and told him I'm acting according to my conscience. We've never had a situation like this before. He made a decision, and I respect him. But when 90% of the people coming to him are those who ran into problems because of our reforms at the Ministry of Defense, it becomes difficult for him to analyze everything and make the right decision. Still, I'm confident the president is listening to the Ukrainian people and the situation will be resolved.
The fallout quickly spread beyond government circles. Dozens of protesters gathered outside the president's office in Kyiv, demanding that Fedorov be reinstated. Demonstrators carried banners reading, "Bring back Fedorov," and standing for the armed forces, arguing that his reforms had strengthened Ukraine's military and should not be abandoned.
I was deeply outraged by the situation surrounding Mykhailo Fedorov's resignation. He is someone who shows real results on the battlefield. We see those results. We feel the fighting spirit and confidence in victory rising. And then, only 6 months later, he is removed from office. Come on, that simply doesn't make sense.
Protesters insisted their demonstration was about much more than one politician. They said they were speaking on behalf of soldiers fighting on the front lines who could not publicly oppose the government's decision.
That's exactly the message I'm trying to send. Look at this from another perspective. There are so many soldiers carrying out their duties on the front line who don't have the opportunity to come here today and oppose what we believe is a shameful decision. That's why I'm standing here today, for them.
Fedorov insists this is not about his political future, but about Ukraine's ability to win the war. He says the country must embrace technology, transparency, and accountability if it hopes to overcome Russia's numerical advantage. His extraordinary public criticism, coupled with protests in Kyiv, has now exposed one of the deepest public rifts yet between Ukraine's civilian reformers and its military leadership, placing President Zelensky under fresh political pressure over the future direction of the war.